For 2,000 years, billions of people asked the same question. They woke up in the morning, they looked at the sky, and they thought to themselves, is it today? Is he coming today? This question was written into sacred texts. It was carved into the ceilings of cathedrals. It mingled with the last breath of people on their deathbeds, and there is still no answer. But now, I'm going to tell you something very interesting. Jesus answered this question himself in the Bible, from his own mouth, word for word. And that answer has either been misread or intentionally ignored for 2,000 years. Stop, because when you hear that answer, everything you know about the second coming will be shaken. Are you ready? First, let us go to the source, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 34. Jesus says this to his disciples, "Truly I tell you, this generation will certainly not pass away until all these things have happened." Stop. This generation. Jesus says before this generation passes away, meaning before the people living in his own era die. And what does he mean by all these things? Look at the previous verses. Wars, earthquakes, the sun growing dark, signs in the sky, and most importantly, the Son of Man coming on the clouds, the second coming. Jesus says that the second coming will take place while the people of his own era are still alive. But it did not happen. That generation passed, centuries passed, millennia passed, and Jesus still has not come. So what does this mean? There are two possibilities, and both of them are shocking. Either Jesus was wrong, or we are reading it wrong. What we just learned shows us this. The expectation of the second coming is based on Jesus' own words. But this expectation never came true. And this failure to manifest gave birth to one of the greatest religious crises in history, the 1st century AD. The first Christians believed that Jesus would return very soon. Because of this, some did not marry. They sold their properties. They abandoned their fields. What was the need anyway? Jesus was coming. Everything was going to change. But Jesus did not come, and people began to die. The ones who knew Jesus personally, who heard his voice, who ate with him, one by one. These deaths shocked the early Christian communities. The question, what will happen to those who die before Jesus comes, grew so large that Paul had to address this question directly. In the book of Thessalonians, it says, "We do not want you to be uninformed about those who sleep in death, so that you do not grieve like the rest." Paul is trying to calm the community down, but the question kept growing. Then the year 1000 AD arrived. The expectation of the apocalypse reached its peak in Europe. People donated their properties. Churches overflowed. Some went up into the mountains. The year 1000 came and went. Nothing happened. Then 1844, then 1914, then 1975, then 2000, then 2012. Every single time, someone stepped up and said, "This is it." Every time, they were wrong. So why has this expectation never ended? Now we come to a very interesting point, because Jesus also described what would happen before the second coming. The Gospel of Matthew, chapter 24, line by line. "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars." Stop. Look at the world today. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Stop. Look again. There will be famines and earthquakes. The love of most will grow cold. False prophets will appear and deceive many people. Does something stir inside you when reading these? Because people living in every single era felt the exact same thing. This is describing our time. The Christians in the 1st century thought this way too. The ones in the Middle Ages did as well. Those in the 20th century did too. And this brings up a very important question. Were these signs written to be applicable to every era, or do they really point to a specific period in time? Now I am going to tell you the most striking verse. The Gospel of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 36. Jesus says this, "But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father." Jesus says, "nor the Son," meaning Jesus states that he does not know the time of his own second coming. This verse reveals two things. First, in every period of history, those who said Jesus will come on this date claimed to know something that Jesus himself did not know. Second, the answer to this question is not held by any human being, not in any book, not in any prophecy, not in any calculation, but people continued to calculate. Why? Because uncertainty is very hard to endure. Not knowing the answer is a heavy burden, and this weight has been returning humanity to the exact same question for thousands of years. Now, I am going to tell you something very interesting. The expectation of a second coming is not unique to Christianity alone. In Islam, it is believed that Jesus will descend to earth once again. He will kill the Antichrist. He will establish justice. And in the end, he will die. In Judaism, the Messiah has not arrived yet, but he will come. And when he arrives, the temple will be rebuilt in Jerusalem. The dead will rise. The world will find peace. In Buddhism, there is the expectation of Maitreya, the future Buddha. He will appear at a time when the world is plunged into darkness and will enlighten humanity. In Hinduism, the Kalki avatar is expected, the final incarnation of Vishnu. He will arrive at the end of Kali Yuga, meaning the Dark Age. Independent religions, cultures unaware of one another, they are all waiting for the exact same thing, that at the deepest moment of darkness, a savior will come. Where does this similarity come from? Some scholars say that this is the universal hope of humanity. No period lasts forever. No darkness remains eternally. One day, everything will get better. And to materialize this hope, people imagined a face, a name, a specific moment. But some say something much more striking. Maybe they are all telling the same truth, with different languages, with different names, but the same truth. We saw a lot today. Jesus said, "Before this generation passes away." But that generation passed. Dozens of dates were given over 2,000 years. All of them turned out wrong. Jesus stated that he did not know the time of his own second coming, and religions all around the world carry the same expectation under different names. Now, I am asking you a single question. What do you think? Is the second coming real? Or is this the strongest hope that humanity clings to in the darkness? And if it is real, is it today? Write your answer in the comments. I am truly curious. And let me tell you this. This question leads you to a much deeper topic, because the issue of the second coming is just one part of the apocalypse. In the next video, we will tackle the topic, are the 7 seals in the book of Revelation opening? Signs today. Subscribe now so you do not miss it.